And slowly open your eyes.
How can I value myself more?
You know, I think that's the essence of why we're here. Because fundamentally, we have so many judgments with ourselves that we really don't love ourselves. And then when we don't receive the love that we think we should receive, we're surprised. But in reality, it's just a reflection of what's happening internally. So the beauty of unification is that all these aspects will come to the surface. And we can look at them and we can nurture them and love them. And the aspects that don't serve, the aspects we judge because they're immature or they're not based in unconditional love, we can start to let them go. But not from a place of violence. It's like, for example, if you have an addiction and you focus on the addiction, and when you go for the addiction again, you chastise yourself like, oh, I'm so bad, I did it again. Like your whole focus is on the addiction. When you focus on love, always, all the low vibrations start to dissolve. And they dissolve not through negation, but through allowing them to move through and choose. You know, humans have choice. We're the only thing on the planet that has a choice. We're undefined. We're unlimited. You know, animals come and they are animals. And they do what animals do. There's not much variance. You know, maybe one dog chases a cat and one doesn't. But basically they're dogs. But humans can recreate themselves. They can come from the most violent situations and transform completely. They can heal their internal hurts because they can define themselves through love and who they want to be. And that's what the system's for. Loving yourself unconditionally. And as a consequence, evolving. And that's the key. You know, it's one thing to see all these behaviours based in limitation and say, oh yeah, I know I'm like that, but I'm going to love myself unconditionally. But then at some point, as you expand more love, you naturally want to change. You don't want to be that person. So you love who you are, and then you become more and more and more until you become the actions of love. And all of that's vibratory. It comes through the expansion of consciousness. And this is the big secret. Because so many spiritual groups, so many religious groups, they give you a list that's, you cannot attain to that list. These laws, because they go against the nature of fear. But once you become the love, once you go beyond your fears, then you can be the actions of love. You know, all the bad things, or the negative things, or the destructive things, or the horrible things, or the violent things that humans do are born of ignorance. It's not that people arrive and say, I think I'm going to be a mass murderer when I grow up. You know, it comes from something. It comes from somewhere. The essence of humanity is love. So, if you look at such an extreme situation that's born of violence, and then a normal situation, which is the majority of us, maybe with some horrific circumstances in moments, but the essence of what we've been created through is based in love. And to transform that is very easy. And it's called responsibility. I take responsibility for who I am. I'm no longer a victim. I, as a mature person, take responsibility for what I'm being, because it's my choice. Yeah, so it comes from that space. So it all starts in the very beginning, because you start to create something that sustains you. And that's love consciousness. And then from that safe house, you start to rebuild. From that foundation, you start to rebuild. But it doesn't mean the walls that you push down, they served. They served. But now you're too big.
I learned in 2009 the system with
In
you
Peru.
when you came in Peru.
Yay.
Yeah, qué
That was
lindo.
a long time ago.
Fue hace mucho, ¿no? Yeah. I went to
I know your
Uruguay to
face.
see. And out of there, my question. Really, I was practicing the system often. I was applying everywhere in my house, wherever I was. And for me, it was very easy to connect in and to go very deep, deep, deep. And sometimes I was in my way to my job in the bus, and I was unified, and I was not hearing anything around, and I was surprised with that. And it was making me feel that really I was deep in whatever I was. As time passed, I stopped for some things of the work, of life. I know I was getting stressed, and I abandoned myself somehow for 5 or 6 years or more. Slowly, slowly, I started doing it again, restarting it. And always I was using it somehow. But yes, I see that in the last years, it's more difficult to get in as I used to do. I want to know if it's normal, if it's because I still have to remove lots of stress and many things that I still have in my head. Is it normal, or what should I do? Because I'm missing that space, that time when really I was closing my eyes and it was very easy to get in.
Okay, no worries. So that feeling that made you stop, you weren't conscious of that, but it was fear. It was so easy for you, so easy for you, so easy for you, so easy for you. You were enjoying it. And then you hit a root stress. And when you hit those root stresses, the mind starts inventing reasons not to continue. Because the ego wants to sustain you. So you stopped. And then it's a roller coaster, no? You just get worse and worse and worse and worse. But the memory's there. Oh, that profound depth of being, that peace. Oh, when I did that, I felt better. It's there. And now you're confronting that. But here you'll move through it really quick.
Pero aquí vas a atravesarlo muy rápidamente.
And you'll go back to how it was before. But intermittently, we hit against walls. Because you have to remember, because you're removing everything. You know, you imagine, in my life I create this fear, this root stress. Okay, my fear. Everyone creates that. But we don't stop there. That root stress becomes the base of a house. And we keep building on top of it. Have you ever noticed that you keep recreating the same things? Okay, so we're digging. And then we're going to pull it out from the root. And when it leaves, that's it, it's gone. So now you have to do a bit of work. You know, I wish I could tell humans that it's so easy. Because it's not easy. It takes work. This is the fastest thing I know. But it takes work. And it takes commitment. You know, it's like an athlete. And they want to compete in the Olympics. And they push and push and push and push and push. And then they hurt something. And they have to stop. And it's the same thing sometimes with consciousness. You push and push and push, and then you hit a wall. And it's in that moment that you have to be nurturing. You have to go through. And you have to remember why you're still going forward. Because when you're expanded, no one questions anything. You know, we go around, we're having a good time, love creates me in my perfection, praise love for this moment in its perfection. Have you seen Isha? Isn't she gorgeous? You should do this. And then you have a contraction. I hate this system. It never works. It never worked. I've never felt worse. Oh, I've never been worse. Oh, maybe I'm having a contraction. And that's when you need a teacher. And that's the essence of this. Because my teachers went through the same thing. They do this, they go, I know that experience. That happened to me. And they support you. But you're here. And by the time you leave, you'll be back on the bus. Feliz in the nubes. Yay! It's incredible now when you find that space, everything's great. Really, it changes everything.
I want to ask you about security. How do we know if we are building our inner security and not focusing in the external, in the work, in the looks, but being here also not the security in the center and the people and in the system, to put like all our security in the system, but really within, really.
Well, you know, the thing is it's an experience. That's the difference. It's not external. When it's the family, no matter how much you love them, it still is external. Them being there, them supporting you, them loving you. In work, them approving of you. This is about you loving you, you approving you, you being free to be you. And that's the difference. And my teachers support you to be empowered. You know, they don't want to go with you. They don't want to live with you, and they don't want to control you. They want you to be free. And that's the difference. They're training you to feel secure within yourself. It's not a codependent system. It's internal. Internal. Yeah, and that's the difference. And this is a trick of your head too. Because it starts looking of where the trick is. Oh, maybe this is this. Or maybe I'm getting addicted to consciousness. You know, that's like saying I'm getting addicted to breathing. You know, try stopping. It won't work for long. You understand? Consciousness is who you are. That's it. And most of the dramas and the separations, with all the love in the world, come from your family. So, not because they do anything on purpose, or not that they don't love you, of course they do. And that's reflected. And you have to go beyond that too. So everything's unconditional. The love's unconditional. You're free to be yourself. You speak your truth. You don't think 10 times before you talk. You don't think if this is a valid question to ask in Darshan for 10 minutes before you ask it. You just be free. Because, you know, this is humans' biggest fear. And it's based in image. What will people think of me? And the question has to change. What do I think of me? That's the question. How do I feel about me? Do I love myself? Am I embarrassed? Do I not feel good enough? These are the questions. It's not what other people think. Because the minute you love yourself, that's reflected externally. And if not, oh well, c'est la vie.
Since 2015 I am divorced and I have the custody of my children and the pension. And now, last year that it was the pandemic crisis, I have the question, calling the father, do I demand the father or I not? Because I didn't receive money from 2015. And the family was telling me, oh, well, you maintain them, don't do it. But another part of me, I was thinking it corresponds to them. And all what you were asking is the same. Do I do or don't do? Do I say don't do? And I didn't take the decision into the step because maybe I didn't feel empowered to do it. For me to achieve, to win a court case or something.
So what do you want? What do you think you deserve? Answer my question. There you go. Do that. Don't listen to other people. You be clear. And see this place where you don't think you deserve. Open to receive. Why shouldn't you receive? They're his kids. Of course. Open to receive. But don't stress over it. Don't lose your peace. Move into action and let go. Don't make it your only focus in life. Because it's not important. Ultimately, it's not important. It's only money. But you deserve it. And if you want it, do that. But don't be attached. Don't suffer. But you have to start making those decisions in everything. When you're living in doubt, and I ask her, she'll say yes. And she'll say no. And she'll say, I don't know. Maybe yes. And then she'll say no. And then, because it's a mirror. But when you have clarity about anything in your life, not just this is a small thing. When you have clarity, but real clarity, everything opens for you. So this is a good place to practice. Being empowered, being clear, not asking everyone, and just moving into action without attachment. Yes? Good.
What means the darshan and what's the purpose of these darshans?
Darshan is when the guru gives you her energy. And that's what I'm doing. I'm holding you in my energy. Answering the questions is just a front for what I'm really doing. The real thing I'm giving you is energy. Because all the answers ultimately have to come from you.
My question is how to stop being like sarcastic, bitchy in some moments. You know? I mean, sometimes I'm like, you know, when like I want to provoke something, or a fight, or I don't know, approval. I've changed a lot in 20 years, but the whole life I'm like that, you know. I mean, I'm not 20 years old, but as far as I'm aware of it.
So why do you want to provoke? Because you want attention. And why do you want attention? Because you want to feel special. And when we're children, we learn to do these things. Maybe we feel left out. Maybe one of our siblings is getting more attention. Maybe any attention's better than no attention. And so we learn how to create drama, so all of the attention's on us. And then we feel bad. And then I think, oh, I'm a bitch. I shouldn't have said that. Now everyone's angry with me. So it's a vicious circle, no? It's a vicious circle. And it comes from when you're very small. The sarcasm, the other stuff, that's not important. The important thing is why you create harm so that you get attention. And that's what you have to look at. Why am I not loving myself? Why do I need attention? Why do I not feel good enough? Why do I not feel deserving? Because people that feel deserving don't want to provoke. They want to be in peace. They want to enjoy their lives. They want to empower others. Okay, so it's just a habit that you learn when you're a little kid. And if you can see it, you can change it. And it's like anything. It's an addiction because it has like a high and then I'm a bad. Yeah, it's very much a princess thing, huh? It's very much a princess thing.
Una pregunta.
And this is a question of somebody who's in quarantine. Why is so difficult for me to make money?
I don't know. It's a very ambiguous question. I can answer. You know, money's energy, but we make it so special. And it has to move. And lots of people have this place where they don't think they deserve. And you can be very rich and be like that. Like have it all in the bank and be penny pinching all the time. And it's a place where you're not trusting. You're not allowing the flow. You're not allowing the movement. And it's about seeing that. It's much deeper than money. It's about energy and trust and flow and opening to receive and to give. It's all the same. Because you meet some people that literally look like they have nothing and they feel secure and they give everything. And you meet other people that have everything and they're grasping to everything like it's the only security they have. You know, security is internal. And another thing you need to see, that you always have exactly what you need. That's why you're here. You've always had exactly what you need. And it's to push beyond that and stop being attached. Because once you're no longer attached, everything starts to flow. Everything.
My question is that I have a very uncomfortable relationship with my children. They are grown up, they're adults, and I find that neither they are comfortable with me nor I with them. It's not a real relationship where we can love, support, not criticize each other. There's so much history because I was irrational, hot-tempered, a critical mother, and I find now that they are grown up and they are adults, they are much different with their children, but when it comes to us, we share a very uncomfortable relationships. It's not real. We can't love each other, support each other. We're trying to, I don't know what it is, be critical of each other. And I think that maybe the root or the whatever, the foundation of our relationship was so bad because I was so mean and nasty to them and hitting and, never being supportive, never believing in them no matter what they did, only what they didn't do. So today even when we try, and I've said I'm sorry for having been the mother that I was, and they say okay, we'll forget about it, but we just can't move beyond that. So what should I do about that as a mom?
Firstly, you've got to stop being so violent with you. Like you did something so bad. You just described 25% of young mothers that are overwhelmed and coping with life. But you have to let go. Because you're so afraid of their response that you're not free to be yourself. So you have to heal you. You have to love you. And when you get to that space, you can just be you without worrying about what they think. One of the things you admire the most about me is I just say whatever. I never think. I don't think if it's appropriate. I don't think if it's inappropriate. I don't care. And you have to get to that point where you're just free, and they will mirror that freedom to you. But whilst you're still walking on eggshells, apologizing for existing, they're just going to keep throwing it in your face. One thing you do wrong, and it's... So you have to let go. But it's not from an energy of fighting. It's from an energy of love. Oh, love creates me in my perfection. Oh yeah, I was a pretty shitty mother. Oh, love creates me in my perfection. Love creates me in my perfection. Now I'm a super cool grandmother. Love creates me in my perfection. And be like that. But stop being so violent with you. Because you're very violent. But you have to go deep to heal this. It's not something you can heal here. You have to heal it here.
When I started the system 4 days ago...
What, you're not healed yet?
No, 1 week, really. When I was unifying, I saw that when I was putting the attention in my heart, I was feeling as if it was like effervescent ball for a bathtub, that always seeing the facets were coming up. But not long ago, I went deep and I feel it's not dissolving. And it's like painful to do the facets, so meditate, because I feel it's too deep, two parts I didn't heal, and it's difficult to get in. I don't know where I'm getting in. When I do the facets, I only want to cry. And I don't know if it's normal or not. It's normal? I want to ask you that.
You know, you're doing it perfectly. And yes, you're healing things because you're going deep. And that's why you want to cry. And just allow the tears to move. And go and talk to the teachers. How old are you? Well, by the time you're 14 and a half, you'll be enlightened. So don't worry. Catalse.
I finished with my boyfriend that I had all my life since I was 14 until today.
Wow.
I'm 23. Wow. And my reference in a wedding is the perfection. My parents have a great relationship. And I feel since I cut with him, I'm in the process of letting go and healing. But I feel missing something. And I cannot be happy without him or without having a love. Can you talk to me about that?
Well, you know, the first problem is youth. Because your hormones are all the time active, you want a boyfriend, all your attention's on falling in love. And that's really normal. It's very normal. But you're in a great moment in your life because you can find you now. And you have to get to the point where you're happy just to be with you, where you're not looking for a man to protect you or to complete you, but where you just feel good with you. And this is a great moment. Like to split up in a relationship that was obviously profound, no? It lasted a long time. Now you can heal that. And you can be free within yourself. So it's a great moment. But that fear, that need to be protected, the intimacy, all of the tenderness, we get used to that. It sustains us. But when we can be by ourselves, we're so empowered. And we're also a bit brainwashed that we have to find the perfect man. When I find my other half, we've got all these ideas that will make me happy. And it's such an illusion. You have to make you happy. And then you can be completely happy, with or without. Yeah? So just keep focused, keep trusting. Okay, that's it. I'm sick of you all. Goodbye.
Come visit our webpage for books, movies, and our wonderful retreat centers. Isha's simple yet powerful system is transforming lives around the world.